Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 7. This was a pretty good book. It's back to that idea of I'm starting to forget that Mark Guggenheim sometimes has these ideas and these thoughts in his public life that are very against my own, and sometimes he's really rude about it, like I'm so much better than you. Yeah, that's cute, but I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to put aside the idea that he's a pretty intolerable human being and point to the idea that I can still acknowledge that he writes really good stuff. And he does. Let's get talking about all that good stuff after we give credit where credit's due. This is called The Deaths of Spider-Man and Wolverine. And yes, it does seem like that might just happen here. Mark Guggenheim is the writer, if you didn't catch it the first time. Kari Andrews on art, color art by Brian Reber. Letters, VC's Travis Lanham. Cover art by, Kari Andrews. Kari Andrews. And I know better than that. And a bunch of variant covers out there also. Enjoy. Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. And Wolverine was created by Roy Thomas and Len Wein and somebody else too, and I forget who. Darn it, I'm really upset that I can't remember who the third person was. But unfortunately, they don't write that stuff down because, God forbid, they start paying royalties to people for that, right? Anyway, it's not like they get a lot for these royalties. So, Spidey and Wolverine are fighting against this one guy. What's this knucklehead's called? He's called the Arachnid or Aracorine or something like that. He's drawn really well. He's freaking awesome. What the heck is the name of this freaking guy? Darn it. Anyway, as I'm looking for it, Wolverine is doing his thing, and he's chasing this dude, and all of a sudden he's in front of Mariko Yoshida's apartment when she was in New York for a while. Spider-Man's doing his thing, and Reed Richards calls him with a beard and says, hey, you missed my lecture. He's like, yeah, sorry, I've got something else I've got to do, namely dinner with my family, with Aunt May. My aunt. He just says my aunt, keeping his identity secret. Keeps his identity secret better than anybody, right? And he gets there, and Uncle Ben is there, and he gives him a hug. Ben's like, who are you? He's like, okay, I'm in a different dimension. Goes and starts talking to Reed. Turns out Reed brought both of them here to try and help him fight off against some kind of a bad guy here. And eventually, Arachnix! Found it! It's Arachnix. And there's a bunch of bad guys in this, and I can't wait to see more of this stuff. We've got the Revengers, a version of the Revengers in here. But there's this incredible character called Arachnix. Listen, I could go into detail of who this guy is. I am not going to. Because it's a part of the comic book that you really should read. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the Revengers show up in the next issue. I'm looking forward to seeing how Wolverine and Spider-Man are going to be able to beat this guy. I was beyond interested at seeing how Wolverine was drawn into agreeing because at first they're both like, yeah, we got no real interest in fighting your battles for you. This isn't our Earth. This isn't our universe. We'd like to go back home now. And then Reed says something and shows a picture that all of a sudden makes Wolverine being like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, we've got to help them out, Spidey's like, wait, whoa, what the what? He literally says that at one point. Really good story. I really enjoyed this. The art, again, guys, you're not going to find better art than this. This literally feels like something out of, let's say, the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? The very late. This is very much akin to what Todd McFarlane does. Kari Andrews is just in beast mode with this comic book. I really do wish more people were reading this comic book. It's really that good. As far as the story, like I said, I don't want to go too into detail into what happens here, but what I will say is, once you see what this Arachnix can do, you're going to stop for a second and be like, oh, it's not looking good for our heroes. I really want to know how they're going to get their way out of this. Notice in the beginning what happened here. The idea that Reed is not being very honest with these guys. You'd figure he would try and do a little preparation. Nope. He's literally just sending people in. What other people have gone in? This is a very surprising comic book, extremely dark. And I think you guys are going to freaking love this. It's just one of those things, guys. This Spider-Man and Wolverine comic book is one of the hands down best that is being produced. You're not going to find a flaw. I feel like if you find a genuine, valid flaw that at least half of the audience can agree with, you should win a no prize. You don't even have to, like the original no prize was, you find a problem and then you state something in the letters column to the writer, editor, whatever, and say, oh, I saw a problem such and such and such. What if it happened because such and such and such? It's like, oh, you help to maintain continuity. You win a no prize, which is basically nothing. You don't get anything. You could arguably get a letter in the mail that says no prize on it. You know, you're a no prize recipient. And that is still to this day my dream. And I made a huge mistake. I messed up royally by not trying to get a no prize from Jim Shooter. That breaks my heart that I screwed up that badly. Like, I don't know, this is my biggest regret, but in some ways it's my biggest regret that I didn't try and use that time. I never thought about it at the time to try and do that because I was just happy to learn whatever I could about comic books, the art, the writing, and all this other stuff. One of the reasons why I grade, not that way, but I grade comics the way that I do is because of Jim Shooter. I'm going to be dead honest here. Jim Shooter would absolutely love this comic book. If Jim Shooter were in charge of Marvel to this day, God rest his soul, I'm telling you, he would have very little to argue about in regards to this comic book. This fits every single marker you possibly could. That is my litmus test as far as I'm concerned, you know? Yeah, I absolutely love what I'm reading here. I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. All I'm going to say, you have to go out and buy this. There is no other choice here. I hope you do that. I hope you also like the video and watch an ad. Probably going to be a slightly long ending for this one, just so that I can get my 8 minutes so I can get some kind of monetization on this video if you watch an ad. Talk to you later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.